Ever heard of the Book of Nahum?
Um,
No.
Not really.
It's this kind of hidden gem in the Bible,
Wait.
all about the fall of a major power back then,
Ah,
the Assyrian Empire.
interesting.
We're using excerpts from the World English Bible translation today to
Sure.
kind of see what this prophet Nahum
Yeah.
can teach us about power and justice,
Mm.
both back then and today, you know?
Right.
It's a book people often miss.
Yeah.
But the language is so powerful.
Really grabs you.
Especially how Nahum describes God.
I see.
I was struck by chapter 1, which is 2 through 6.
Mm.
God is this intense force,
Yeah.
almost scary.
Yeah.
What effect do you think Nahum was going for?
Well, it shows how they saw the divine back then.
Different from today.
Totally.
Like the phrases, Yahweh has his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, the mountains quake before him and the hills melt away.
Not meant literally.
Right. More like,
To evoke awe, even terror,
yeah.
God's power over nature.
Their God was different from how we often think today.
Exactly.
Like more,
Majestic but terrifying.
yeah.
Not the gentle shepherd we see now.
Right.
Nahum uses these techniques a lot.
Techniques.
Like metaphors, similes, personification.
Oh, right.
Common in ancient Near Eastern writing.
Makes sense.
But then, after all that power,
Yeah.
we get to verse 7.
Which says,
Yahweh is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knows those who take refuge in him.
total shift, huh?
Huge.
Almost like a contradiction.
You've got it.
Like, how can God be both?
It's how the Bible portrays God.
Okay.
Not simple, one-dimensional.
So both justice and mercy.
Central to his character, yeah.
So how do we reconcile that?
Vengeful warrior, but also refuge.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, God's anger here is about wickedness,
Specifically.
the Assyrians' cruelty.
Okay.
He protects those who seek him, the faithful.
So it's not random smiting.
No.
Actions have consequences, but
Yeah.
there's also room for...
Forgiveness, seeking refuge.
Which leads us to those consequences.
Ah, yeah.
Nahum really lays out what happens to Nineveh.
Doesn't hold back at all.
The Assyrian capital.
Yeah.
Chapters 2 and 3 are just...
Vivid.
It's like a movie, almost.
Cinematic, yeah.
He talks about the dashing in pieces, chariots raging in the streets, the plundering of silver and gold, and the cries of the conquered.
Wow.
And this wasn't just, like, made up, was it?
No.
Nineveh really was destroyed.
Historically, yes.
Like Nahum said,
It happened.
Babylonians and Medes, right?
They besieged and conquered the city.
Huge event back then.
Changed the ancient world.
Must blown people's minds.
Imagine seeing prophecy come true.
Yeah, wow.
But it's more than just one city falling.
What's the bigger picture then?
Justice prevailing, you see.
Okay.
Remember, God's wrath is aimed at evil.
Right.
Nineveh was oppression and violence.
Like the prime example.
Exactly. It's God's justice in action.
Showing even empires aren't above the rules.
No one is immune.
There's this accountability woven through it.
At the core of it, yeah.
So even empires built on bad stuff
Violence, oppression, all that.
face judgment eventually.
It's a constant theme.
But what does that judgment look like?
Good question.
Is it always as destructive as Nineveh?
Not necessarily.
Are there like modern Ninevehs?
Ooh, that's interesting.
You know, systems that seem powerful,
Mm-hmm.
but are actually built on shaky ground.
Makes you think, right?
Like Nahum's prophecy,
Yeah.
it was about his time.
Of course, specific to Assyria.
But it's also a lens
To view today's issues, yeah.
to think critically about power.
Absolutely.
So putting on those Nahum glasses,
Uh-huh. I like that.
what do we see?
Well, regimes that violate human rights.
Oh,
Or huge corporations.
you ones exploiting workers
Yeah, or damaging the environment.
for profit.
There's
Yeah.
so many examples.
Like even online,
Oh, interesting.
those echo chambers
With misinformation.
and hate speech.
Those feel powerful.
Unstoppable sometimes.
But Nahum reminds us,
Oh,
even the biggest empires,
yeah.
they face judgment.
But what does that even look like today?
Right.
Like, is it God stepping in?
Not literally a thunderbolt,
Right?
though Nahum liked that imagery.
Yeah.
It's about consequences, you see.
For how we act.
Exactly. It might be
Oh.
upheaval
Socially,
or economic collapse.
or losing their authority.
moral authority, yeah.
Almost like they caused their own downfall.
That's a good way to put it.
Like setting the stage for it.
It happens over and over in history.
Give me an example.
The Roman Empire, for one.
Oh,
Or the French Revolution.
those weren't just random.
No, deep inequality was there.
Abuse of power, too.
Leads to those breaking points.
So not waiting for rescue.
It's more like
The system itself is flawed.
contains the seeds of its own end.
That's kind of dark, but true.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Nahum isn't all doom and gloom.
Okay.
There's hope, too.
Oh, like how?
We talk about God as a stronghold,
For those who seek him.
even amidst judgment.
There's something else there.
A glimmer, yeah.
So condemning the wicked.
But also solace for the oppressed,
God sees their suffering.
and will bring justice.
That's powerful, especially if you feel powerless.
Against injustice, yeah.
Like something's working for you.
Even when it seems hopeless.
But then why does suffering exist?
The age-old question.
If God's so powerful.
Why not fix everything?
Yeah.
People have pondered that forever.
Does Nahum give an answer?
Not directly, no.
Okay.
But he makes us wrestle with it.
With what?
The tough stuff. Good and evil.
Justice and mercy.
All tangled up.
Not about easy answers then.
More like the struggle itself.
For a better world.
That ongoing fight, yeah.
So justice is never really done.
Always new challenges.
New injustices popping up.
But we're not alone in facing them.
Because of God.
Right, that shared struggle.
And Nahum also talks about
What's that?
our own responsibility.
Ah, yes, verse 11.
One has gone out of you who devises evil against Yahweh, who counsels wickedness.
We're not just watching this happen.
We have a part to play.
For good or bad, yeah. Even small acts matter.
So not toppling empires alone,
No.
but consistent choices.
Speaking out, supporting the right things.
Aligning our lives with our values.
Making those daily decisions.
Just ripples in a pond.
Oh, like that.
Spreading outward.
Care to bigger change.
So we do matter, even if it feels small.
Exactly, you have that power.
But can be scary, right?
To speak up.
When those in power.
Want to shut you down.
Yeah, where's the courage come from?
Nahum himself is inspiring.
How so?
He spoke truth to power.
Back then, that was risky.
Very much so.
Yeah, he did it anyway.
He believed in a better world.
So we can draw on that.
From those who came before.
Who stood up when it was hard.
Throughout history, people have done it.
Not just prophets, but regular folks.
Standing against injustice.
It's amazing how this talk has shifted. We started with Nineveh as the bad guy.
Oppression, violence, all that.
But now it's about hope, too.
Transformation is possible.
But for us and society.
That's the heart of it.
Even when things are dark.
There's always a spark.
That can start a movement.
For good, yeah.
It's amazing how this talk has shifted.
How so?
We started with Nineveh as the bad guy.
Oppression, violence, all that.
But now it's about hope, too.
Transformation is possible.
Both for us and society.
That's what makes this book so powerful.
Yeah, it's not just destruction.
It's a call to action.
You know, I used to think prophets,
Yeah.
they just wandered around.
Predicting doom.
Right. But Nahum's different.
In what way?
He's not just saying the future.
He's involved.
He wants change.
Definitely challenging the status quo.
What kind of change, though?
Well, he saw the Assyrians
Yeah.
as totally unjust.
Built on violence.
Exactly. He wanted that to end.
People to be free.
Liberation was key.
But it's deeper than that, right?
It's about the heart, too.
Changing ourselves.
Turning away from wickedness.
So not just the systems.
It's personal, too.
Recognizing our own part in it.
We're all part of the problem.
So we got to be part of the solution.
That's the challenge.
But where do we even start
It feels huge.
if we're all part of it?
That's where individual responsibility comes in.
Like Nahum said.
One has gone out of you who devises evil against Yahweh, who counsels wickedness.
Our choices matter.
Every single day.
So not waiting for some big event.
No revolution needed.
It's the little things we do.
Speaking up, even when it's tough.
Supporting good causes.
Aligning our lives, our work.
With what we believe.
Those small acts add up.
Like ripples, right?
You got it.
Spreading out from us.
Creating a wave of change.
So we do matter, even if it feels small.
Don't underestimate yourself.
But what about when it's scary?
To speak truth to power.
Yeah, like Nahum did.
He was brave.
Risking a lot back then.
To say what he believed.
So we can learn from that.
From him and so many others.
Who fought for what's right?
Throughout history, it's inspiring.
We started talking about Nineveh as the symbol of everything wrong.
Oppression, the violence.
But now it's more than that.
There's hope in Nahum's message.
We can change things.
Both inside ourselves.
And in the world around us.
That's what I want people to remember.
As we finish up here.
It's not about waiting for someone else.
To fix everything.
We each have a part.
In building a better world.
Through our choices, our actions.
It can feel overwhelming.
But hold on to Nahum's hope.
That a better future is possible.
If we challenge what's wrong
And work together.
towards that vision, yeah.
That's a great message to end on.
It's been a pleasure discussing this.
Thank you for guiding us through Nahum.
You're welcome.
And to everyone listening,
Keep exploring these ideas.
Nahum's book is worth a look.
It's more relevant than ever.
And until next time, keep learning.
Keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.